I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. You know, a minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim. And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable. So it's disappointing, you know, that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways. But we also can't allow that to consume us, right? Like, we've got to be able to play through that. We've got to be able to control the things.
That was Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White, and her frustration was the spark that ignited a wildfire. But the explosion didn't go off in a press conference. It detonated online, with just 6 words and a $200 fine. For weeks, the spotlight has been fixed on controversial calls and one-sided games, but today we're connecting the dots, revealing the real story behind the noise. This isn't just about bad officiating anymore. This is about a player-led rebellion, fought through social media posts and strategic fines, aimed at exposing what might be the WNBA's dirtiest secret. We're breaking down how Caitlin Clark and her allies have flipped the league's own rulebook into a weapon, risking their paychecks to wage a public war the commissioner can't control. This is exactly the kind of deep dive investigation we live for. So if you believe in cutting through the spin to get to the truth, smash that like button. It tells us to keep digging. Now, let's start with the moment that officially sparked the war. And no, it didn't happen on the court. It happened on a screen. After a heated playoff victory, Caitlin Clark posted a short message: "Refs couldn't stop us." To casual fans, it looked like harmless trash talk. But to the league office, it read like a declaration of war. Their response? A swift fine. But what the league intended as punishment, Clark turned into a PR masterstroke. Instead of hiding it, she owned it, posting, "Got fined $200 for this LOL." That LOL wasn't a joke, it was a taunt. With one post, Clark flipped a minor penalty into a viral moment. She didn't just take the fine, she weaponized it. For $200, she bought herself millions of dollars worth of attention, all aimed at the growing question of referee bias. This wasn't an accident. It was a calculated act of defiance. Clark wasn't the victim of a fine. She was the architect of a movement. And she just forced the entire basketball world to pay attention. But here's where it gets bigger. She wasn't fighting alone. For those of you tracking this narrative on TikTok and X, you were right. Clark's post was the signal flare, and her teammates were ready to follow. The most prominent example? Veteran guard Sophie Cunningham. After a crucial Game 4 win, the same game where the whistle finally seemed to tilt in Indiana's favor, Sophie posted her own message, celebrating the rare fair officiating. Cunningham didn't stay silent. She jumped right into the fire. Replying to Clark's viral post, she dropped a now infamous line, "And it's about damn time." The league's reaction? Predictable. Just like Clark, Cunningham was fined for publicly criticizing officiating. But once again, the WNBA completely missed the point. The fine wasn't a punishment, it was proof. Another receipt the players could wave in the court of public opinion. Now think about what that means. 2 respected players in the middle of a high-stakes playoff run, openly defying the league and willingly paying money to do it. Strip away the noise, and the picture becomes crystal clear. This isn't about emotional frustration anymore. This is a coordinated campaign. One player, Clark, used sarcasm and humor, that viral LOL, to expose the absurdity of the situation. The other, Cunningham, used direct, unfiltered truth to confirm what fans have been suspecting for weeks. Together, they created a surround sound effect, amplifying one another's message and making it impossible for the league to dismiss it as a one-off rant. Every fine became a documented piece of evidence, another entry in a growing public case file against biased officiating. And the next piece of that evidence didn't come from a player. It came from their head coach. To understand why Clark and Cunningham were willing to risk their money and reputations, you have to look back at the on-court injustice that pushed them past their breaking point. This social media rebellion wasn't born out of thin air. It was a direct consequence of what happened during their semifinal series against the Las Vegas Aces. Their head coach, Stephanie White, set the tone in one of the most blistering post-game press conferences of the year. Her word of choice? Egregious. And she had the numbers to back it up, citing a minus 31 free throw differential over the series. The Fever were attacking the rim, getting hammered, and receiving no calls. The disrespect hit its peak in Game 3, a moment that fans still replay in disbelief. With Indiana holding a slim lead, Aaliyah Boston was whistled for a phantom foul. Coach White immediately signaled for a challenge, but the officials ignored her. They just let play continue. Seconds later, the Aces drained a three-pointer, flipping the game's entire momentum. That wasn't just a missed call. It was a public display of dismissiveness, a message from the league's referees that said loud and clear, "You don't matter. The rules don't apply to you." When your players are getting mauled under the basket and your coach is being ignored on the sideline, what options are left? You take the fight somewhere the league can't silence you, to the court of public opinion, where the referees have no whistle and the league has no control. And that's the truth most people are missing. This fight didn't start in the 2025 semifinals. This social media rebellion is just the latest chapter in a conflict that's been simmering for years, and now it's finally boiling over. Check important info. The deep search file reveals something the league hoped would stay buried. Coach Stephanie White has a long, documented history of being disciplined for calling out officiating, especially when it comes to the physical punishment Caitlin Clark endures every single night. White has paid her share of fines, trying to protect her players through official channels, but the league's response has been painfully consistent. Sit down. Be quiet. And here's the thing, she's not alone. Even her rival, Aces head coach Becky Hammon, has been fined this postseason for saying the exact same thing, that inconsistent officiating is damaging the game. When opposing coaches, both respected, both competing for a championship, are being punished for voicing the same complaint, it stops being sour grapes. It becomes a systemic failure. Now think about the hypocrisy here. The WNBA is riding an unprecedented wave of growth, shattering ratings, ticket sales, and sponsorships, all thanks to what's now called the Caitlin Clark effect. They're happy to market her, sell her jersey, and use her image to close massive media deals. But when it comes to protecting her, when it comes to stopping the nightly assault she absorbs on the court, the league suddenly goes silent. The coaches have tried to sound the alarm. Their reward? More fines. So with their leaders muzzled, the players decided it was time to speak up themselves in a language the league couldn't find, censor, or control: social media. And this is where the league's entire strategy, if you can even call it that, collapses. Their only weapon is the fine book. But a $200 fine to someone like Caitlin Clark? That's not punishment. That's a rounding error. The WNBA is trying to fight a modern media war with ancient tools, and they're losing badly. Every fine they issue becomes another log on the fire, another piece of evidence for the players' case against them. And the rot starts at the top. According to Players Association Vice President Nafisa Collier, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has repeatedly dismissed concerns about officiating. Collier reports that Engelbert's response was blunt: only losers complain about the refs. Let that sink in. The leader of the league, the person tasked with protecting its integrity, allegedly believes that players speaking out about unfair treatment are just sore losers. So ask yourself, when the very system designed to protect players is instead ignoring them, what choice do they have left? They bypass the system entirely. The league thinks it's punishing players for speaking out, but what it's actually doing is proving them right, confirming to millions of fans that the system is broken and that the truth has to be forced into the open. And the players have found the perfect weapon to do it. That weapon is social media. The one arena where the league has no control and the players hold all the power. The game has changed. The balance of power has shifted. And the WNBA's old methods of control simply don't work anymore. Power today doesn't belong to those in boardrooms. It belongs to anyone who can command attention. And in the WNBA, no one commands more attention than Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. They've brought millions of new, highly engaged fans into the sport. Fans who don't get their news from press conferences or highlight shows, but from TikTok, X, and Instagram. That's the new battleground, and it's one where the league is hopelessly outmatched. Clark, Cunningham, and their allies have bypassed the traditional media gatekeepers entirely. They don't need to hope a reporter asks the right question or that a TV network runs the right clip. Now, they can post video evidence of missed calls themselves straight to their millions of followers, complete with their own commentary and receipts. They control the narrative in a way that would have been unthinkable just a few years ago. And many of you watching this are part of that ecosystem. You've seen the viral clips, the ignored challenge, the phantom fouls, dissected frame by frame on Reddit and social media threads. The players understand exactly what they're doing. This direct line to the fans is their ultimate leverage. They can build a mountain of public outrage that the league cannot ignore. It's a masterclass in modern media warfare, transforming their own platforms into a populist court that holds the WNBA accountable in real time. But here's the twist. This fight isn't just about the calls, the fines, or the social media posts. It's about something much bigger. The real endgame is the new collective bargaining agreement. The current CBA is set to expire, and behind closed doors, negotiations for the next one are already underway. According to our findings, officiating accountability has become a major point of contention, with players demanding stronger protections for their safety and for the integrity of the game itself. Now, every post, every fine, every viral clip of a missed call isn't just outrage, it's leverage. Clark, Cunningham, and their allies are strategically constructing pressure, a public mandate for reform that the league can't dismiss without risking alienation from its massive new fan base. That $200 fine that started all this, it wasn't a penalty. It was an investment in a safer, fairer, and more accountable league for every player who steps onto the court. So now the question becomes yours. Was this social media campaign a brilliant strategy to force real change, or a reckless act that undermines the league's authority? Drop your verdict in the comments below. Collision masterstroke or warning reckless move? This story is far from over. And as the CBA negotiations continue behind the scenes, we'll be tracking every twist in this ongoing media war. So hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and share this video with another fan who only sees the drama on the court, because the real war is being fought off it.